This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. This is a sponsored message. I've been using Anchor as my podcast host for a while now, and it's been a pleasure to use. Anchor offers benefits that most other hosts do not. It's free to use, but it also has a collection of tools that allow you to create a podcast completely within the Anchor website or smartphone app. They distribute your show to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other distribution channels without any additional effort on your part, and you can make money from your podcast without any minimum audience size. So you can use it as a more traditional podcast host like I do, but it's also got everything you need to start a podcast from scratch. If you're keen to give it a shot, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Monday, June 20th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From Smithsonian Magazine, EPA warns against toxic forever chemicals in drinking water. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has announced new research and warnings related to synthetic chemicals called PFAS and related substances that are found in everything from food wrappers to sunscreen to smartphones to firefighting foam. PFAS and similar substances, sometimes called forever chemicals, because they're ultra-durable and as a consequence don't tend to break down in the body or the environment, are produced and used a lot less than they were a decade ago, but they still persist throughout the world, including in environments where humans might come into contact with them, which is not ideal as they've been linked to cancers, weakened immune systems, and low birth weights. It's estimated that more than 200 Americans may be drinking water contaminated with PFAS, and this new announcement indicates that the previous acceptable, probably okay level of water contamination is actually very not okay and establishes new, much lower levels. From Bloomberg, WHO will rename monkeypox virus to minimize stigma and racism. The World Health Organization is in the process of coming up with a new official designation for monkeypox, a disease similar to smallpox, but generally less deadly, that's been around for a long time, and which is primarily found in communities where the eating of bushmeat and/or exposure to animals that naturally harbor the disease is common. This name change is the consequence of a surge in monkeypox infections globally, including in places where the disease is not endemic. The term is sometimes used pejoratively toward black people, despite not having anything to do with race. And this recent infection surge has primarily been spread in communities of men who have sex with men, which has raised concerns that there could be a sexual stigma associated with it as well, despite the fact that anyone from anywhere can catch it and that it's not sexually transmitted. It's spread through close contact of any kind. The WHO has said they will announce the new name as soon as possible in order to prevent further stigma and abuse. More than 1,600 people in more than 24 countries are currently known to be infected. And from the Wall Street Journal, a warming Arctic emerges as a route for subsea cables. An Alaskan company has partnered with a Finnish and a Japanese company to build an undersea fiber optic cable that connects Japan to Norway and Ireland, with Alaska and a slew of Canadian islands in between, the group taking advantage of a relatively ice-free Arctic to do so. This cable is scheduled to be operational by 2026 and would span nearly 8,700 miles, which is about 14,000 kilometers, through ocean that has traditionally been iced over most of the time, but which is currently nearly ice-free in the region's summer months. It's expected to cost more than $1 billion to complete and is competing with another headline-grabbing Arctic cable project currently under development by a Russian state company. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.